I was asking you, Dr. Mariam, how does the systematic targeting of Gaza hospitals by Israeli forces breach international humanitarian law?
Of course, these attacks are against international law, against the Geneva Conventions of 1949, which is considered the milestone of the international humanitarian law. We are seeing sick people killed at hospitals like Al-Wafa Hospital, Kamal Adwan Hospital, and actually these attacks have been there at an extreme level since 2023. Also, we saw images of babies freezed to death, children killed, and even we saw the past few days Pope Francis condemning the violent attacks against children in Gaza. So bombings of schools and hospitals, it's a real cruelty against children and women and civilians by and large. And even if we have a look at what's taking place in Israel, we see the leftists are holding a lot of protests against Netanyahu, and they are demanding ceasefire, and that all what's happening is only for political gains, and nothing is happening in the prisoner swap deals, for example.
Now, Dr. Mariam, I want to take it from here, since you mentioned the protests. How do these protests against Netanyahu reflect broader dissent against his Gaza and Lebanon policies? How do you view this?
Actually, it's the same thing, that it's only what's taking place from the Israeli government is for political gains, and actually the attacks on Syria and being all against international treaties like and agreements like the disengagement agreement of 1974. And so all of these are violations of international law, and this is not helping even Israeli people. So that's why the leftists are holding a lot of protests in Israel. So they're demanding the stop of genocides, stopping war crimes and all massacres taking place. Also, the attacks, so the Israeli government also is holding attacks in Yemen, in Lebanon, also violations against the UNIFIL, which are the peacekeeping forces in Lebanon. All of these are considered attacks and violations of international humanitarian law.
So could the current American talks about recognizing the new Syrian leadership represent a shift in the political vision of the Biden administration?
Regarding, it's very early to predict what will take place regarding the American-Israeli standpoint on Syria, but we have noticed some kind of rapprochement between the new Syrian government and Netanyahu, and they said that Israel is not against peace in Syria, and that it's only there for some time, but in Jabal al-Sheikh or in Golan Heights, but it's that the new advancement is just, and gaining more spaces is just a temporary stage. But of course, it's early to predict what will take place.
What are the implications of Israel's arrest of Gaza health officials on humanitarian operations?
Excuse me, could you repeat?
Dr. Mariam, you want me to repeat the question? I was asking
yeah,
you, what are the implications of Israel's arrest of Gaza health officials on humanitarian operations?
Of course, like the attacks and bombings of hospitals, and actually evacuating hospitals and detaining medical staff, because actually protection of medics is a key point and a key pillar of Geneva Conventions. So according to the 4 Geneva Conventions, it's very clear that medics should be protected according to international humanitarian law. So any attacks on medics not the detainment or evacuating hospitals. Of course, this is a great attack and really cruel and violent.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Dr. Mariam Wahid, Professor of Political Science, joining us live from Cairo. Thank you very much for helping us unpack this complex issue.